Welcome to Voices of the Underground, hosted by Young Ty and Robert Geaux.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another brand new episode of Voices of the Underground EDM podcast. As always, I am your host, Young Ty, and with me, as always, is the co-host, Robert Geaux. How's it going, buddy?
Cheers, Ty. It's going phenomenal. Two things. One, I just slammed a bunch of lumpia that just randomly got dropped off of my house, so I'm feeling fantastic. Two, it's Michigan-Ohio State week, Ty. Fuck you. Because Michigan, I've got my jersey on. By the time this comes out, Michigan will have beaten Ohio State, and I cannot wait to rub that in your face. But other than that, I'm doing okay.
Just because it's Michigan-Ohio State, go Ohio State. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, man, yeah. Diehard Michigan fan here. I think everyone who's watched this show over the last year or 2 years, realizes, I live and die with that team.
Yeah. We have a special guest today with us because she has opened up for some big names at Above and Beyond and so many others. And she's our first female on the show and trance and techno DJ. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podcast, SunrYse. How's it going?
Hey guys, I'm doing great. Nice to meet you guys. Well, not you, Young Ty, but nice to finally meet you, Robert.
Yeah, thank you. Because you guys have known each other for a little while. In New York, well, you're just outside. We were talking earlier, right? You're just kind of outside of the New York, in between New Jersey area, right?
Yeah, right outside Manhattan in Jersey City. But yeah, I am a Jersey girl. Born in Philadelphia, but moved to Jersey when I was a little girl.
Oh, okay. So you were born in the East Coast.
Yep. Philadelphia, born and raised.
Nice. Man, dude, Christmas time out there has got to be absolutely
crazy.
Magical. Is it as I've never done it. Of all the years I've lived in the States, I've never done it. Is it as magical sunrise as they say it is Christmas time?
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, I grew up with the Four Seasons, so Christmas to me, is always beautiful with the snow and everything, if it does snow and stuff, but during Christmas Day. But yeah, it's beautiful. You guys should definitely go into this New York City, even Philadelphia. But New York City, everyone always goes and see the Rockefeller tree.
Man, we don't get that here in SoCal. Right now, as I speak, you can get a sunburn when you go outside. It's 81 in my area, so I'm kind of jealous of the snow. But then I don't know. I'm kind of lazy to shovel it. Ty, you were in New York, right? How long were you in New York?
6 years or so. Yeah. So I've seen downtown and all that in the tree in Rockefeller. So
wait, I didn't know you lived in New York City area.
I was in Long Island for a while.
Oh, okay, awesome. When did you move out there?
Just my mom and moving to New York and stuff. Back to New York because she's originally from New York.
Oh, okay. High school?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice.
Nice. All right. Well, no, it's great to get into it. Ty, you said it's SunrYse. You're the first female that we've had on the show, and that's fantastic. I'm pretty excited to kind of get a different perspective, not only just from that, but from the DJ side of it, right? Because you've been DJing mostly on the East Coast, no, all over the world, right? I think it's in your bio.
Well, I've primarily just in the United States. I mean, I travel a lot for music, but in terms of performance, I perform mostly in the East Coast, specifically Brooklyn, Manhattan, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. I had an opportunity to play out in LA last month, Miami earlier this year, and then next week I'm flying to Chicago. I'll be playing out there too. So it's exciting.
No, you're racking up the frequent flyer. So let me ask you this, then I guess let's get right into it. How does a Jersey girl get into DJing? How do you, and what do you spin? Because you spin a little different than the stuff that we've talked about here, the genres that you spin, right?
Yeah, it's actually funny story. But basically, I mean, I grew up listening to trance music my whole life since early 2002, I would say. It wasn't until I went to college, and I went to school at Rutgers University, which is 45 minutes outside Manhattan in New Jersey, Central Jersey. And so for me, I didn't get my first trance music club experience, underground experience or so until my freshman year of college in 2005. That was when I went to my first show, and it kind of grew from there, and my love for trance kind of grew. But I started listening to trance music because of my friend in high school, and kind of really the emotion that I feel when I listen. It kind of reminds me of when I listen to classical music. I grew up listening to a lot of classical music because of my dad. He would always listen listen to classical music on the ride. In a car ride to like, long trips or like just to school, we will always listen to like his music.
Nice. Okay, so let me ask you this, and I'm sure we'll get more detailed as we go here. So you're at Rutgers, so you're Scarlet Knight.
Yes,
And okay, so presumably you're not going as a music major, as a DJ major. What did your folks think? Because Rutgers is a prestigious university. That's like no joke, Showtime. What did they say? I got to know when they're like when you had that conversation, like to your parents, like, hey, I want to be a DJ, and like you said, coming from that school, I can only imagine what your parents were thinking.
Well, funnily enough, like I didn't even consider DJing as something I would do into way later into my life. But in college, it was just more so attending music shows. In college, I still study. Even actually, now that I said it, I didn't do the typical what you would call like a require from like the Asian family. I study marketing as my major and minored in Chinese, and I kind of pursued marketing from there after I graduated from college. But after that, it wasn't until recently, like 3 years ago or so, that I even considered DJing and stuff.
Whoa! Hold on, let me walk this back. So you're I thought you've been around for a while. You've been able to do all of this in like a very short window.
Yeah, I kind of like to tell people that I somehow did it a little backward. Through my experience and going to just attending shows, meeting people, promoting a little bit on the side, within the last 15 years, I kind of built my network already in that sense. So when I started DJing 3 years ago, it wasn't something where I had to do like, cold call and be like, hey, reach out to all the promoters and figure out how am I going to be able to get gigs. Funnily enough, like I initially started out as DJing as more so like a hobby. Didn't see it as something I would do for, in the future, or performing at clubs and clubs or anything. So it genuinely just came out from pure like interest and pure hobby.
Oh, dude, Ty, I don't feel alone. No, because I started just 2 years ago. So it's like,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I started with like when I was already getting like senior citizen discounts at like Coco's and stuff. She's like, that's when I started. Just like, so my path was a little different too. So I can totally understand. No, that's fantastic. You build up a network. And then Ty, how did you guys meet then? Like on the scene, did you guys work together?
Well, I didn't know you did it only for 3 years, but we met about 2 years ago during COVID. Actually, we did a live stream with a buddy of ours,
Yes.
DJ Guy, and that's how we met.
Oh, okay.
We did an epic back to back, which I think we need to do again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because I had met Gaby about that time too. And I think that's where I saw you. It was like that. I think he was doing like, because you guys would go to a studio, right, and throw down.
Yeah, it was like
Eyegasm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That was a pretty cool place. Do you still go there? Is that like still a thing to do like Twitch?
No, it's not a thing anymore, unfortunately.
No, but it was a cool experience. They turned their garage into a studio essentially.
Wait, that was a garage?
That was a house, dude. Yeah,
it was an actual house.
What? Dude, that looked like a first class like studio. Like I just was thinking like, okay, yeah, these guys rented out a studio. I didn't know if someone's bad.
So I was the last one to get there, and I pull up to the place, and I'm like, this is a fucking house? And all you hear is just music coming from the garage, and all. I'm like, aren't the neighbors going to say something? They're like, no, they're all cool with it.
Oh, dude, I got to rethink my situation over here. I didn't realize you can make a garage look like that.
Yeah, dude, it was pretty epic.
No, that was cool though. Yeah, because I remember seeing you guys. So SunrYse. That's kind of then. Gosh, let's see. We're in 2022. So you had just started a little bit, right?
I started in March 2019. I had a friend taught me how to DJ. He had like a small controller, an extra small controller, because he had upgraded to an RX2, and so he let me use that to practice and learn. And funny enough, when I first learned, I was one of those student growing up. Like I always take notes, and
got it right here.
Exactly.
I know exactly what you're talking. It's an Asian thing, Ty. I told you that's what we do.
Yeah, and you have to have the perfect handwriting too. But I will always take notes, and most of the time when you're taking notes, you're writing, but you're not really paying attention. So I felt like at some point, after 2 or 3 lessons of learning, I took a break because I was like, I'm not understanding this. I'm not sure this is something I want to do. Maybe it's just not meant for me, right? So I took a 3 months break, and then I decided to kind of go back and relearn. And then during that moment is when it kind of just somehow clicked. And from then on, I just kept practicing on my own. And you know what? It was during that year when I learned, I was going through like a rough patch in my life. So and I was unemployed, and so I had the time to really sit down and really practice and like hone into my skill sets and try to get better based on what I like to hear or how I feel like it should sound. I started just focusing on that and learning. And then, during that same year, I co-founded with a friend of mine, our Trance Family New York City Facebook community group, which, we now have like over 2,000 followers and members, which is great, and that was right before the pandemic. And it was going well. During the pandemic, of course, it kind of like slowed down and got a little quiet in the group, but that really did help kind of kickstart a lot of the things that I started doing back in 2019 and early 2020.
Well, COVID of 2020 and all that, you did Sundown to Sunrise live streams on Twitch. I used to watch some of those.
Yeah. Honestly, Twitch was the reason why I probably got to where I am today. Honestly. Yeah. When the pandemic happened, and this is a lot of people's story. Like one of my favorite artists in the trance industry or in trance world is Gabriel and Dresden. And I follow them on Facebook. I'm a friend with one of them. So for me, when the pandemic started, they decided to let's play music, and since they couldn't perform, so they initially started on Facebook Live, and a lot of people started going on to that channel to watch him play. But then with Facebook, music copyrights and shutting down a lot of the Facebook Live, the next step, he decided, hey, you guys, I'm actually going to play on my Twitch channel. Here's the link. So that was how we all discovered Twitch. And it kind of blew up from there for him specifically too, for them. So because of that, I started watching Twitch a lot, creating my own account, started to understand the concept of Twitch and how to use Twitch as someone who's watching Twitch, but also as someone who is using to stream as well. So I officially started streaming on Twitch April 2020.
I don't know how you did it. Sundown or Sunrise.
Wait. Time out. That's not a play on words. That's you. Wait, hold on. That's like are you talking about like some Carl Cox shit where you like literally play the entire time? Am I understanding this right?
I played I played at midnight until like 9 a.m.
Oh man! Oh, because I was like, is in my mind because I didn't know about it. So in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, that's a really good play on words. No, you literally played from until the sun came up. That's awesome.
I was like, I have to live up to my name. I have to play until sunrise, and I just kept playing, and then eventually at like 9 o'clock, I was like, all right, I'm done.
Dude, that's really cool. And you had people like on the Twitch streams with you, like
just watching, engaging, and just chatting, keeping me motivated. Honestly, if it wasn't for the chats and my community, I probably wouldn't have been able to stream as long as I could have, as I did. But and you'll find that a lot of streamers, during the pandemic, that was the highlight. They would just stream nonstop. You're so used to having 1.5 hour, 2 hour set from DJ at the clubs to now kind of not, I don't want to say the word spoil, but you are so used to having streamers streaming like 7 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. So a lot of people are saying like, we want longer sets when actual DJ nowadays come into to perform at your local cities at the club, because they're so used to hearing just
the longer sets.
Yeah, longer sets.
Oh
so
man, see, that's why you gotta love trance, tech house, techno people. They're down for that.
Yeah.
Big room people are out after like 55 minutes. They're going, we're good, we're done fist pumping, we're done. No, Dude, that's awesome. No, I didn't. That's a really cool way to leverage something, out of nothing, right? Like leveraging Twitch and the social platforms like that to build
Exactly.
your. So, are you still like engaged on Twitch? Is that something that you still utilize?
I try to once or twice a month, but honestly, I haven't been able to stream as much as I want to because my focus has now been more of the live aspect of things versus the virtual streaming. Just because now that I do have more gigs, I am more focusing on working on that, focusing on my just promoting my brand in a way in the social media and just figuring things out as I go. But I always try to remember to be like, if people ask me to, hey, can you stream? Can you be part of a raid train? Like, and or just like casually streaming once a month. That's my goal. At least once a month, just so I can like still be part of the community and still communicate with my members there. Because a lot of the people that are watching on Twitch, I rarely do get to see them when I perform in person. They're all global. Like there are people watching on Twitch that's everywhere in the world. Whereas here, I'm only specifically siloed to, where I'm playing at in Brooklyn. And it's great because I have met a lot of people through Twitch that I now meet in Brooklyn in person. They're coming out because they know who I am. They know that I'm performing in the city near them. So they come out. So it's been great in that sense. I feel like Twitch has been a great niche community that no one seemed to know about or forget about. So now to add them onto that part of your fan base is really important to make sure that we keep them in mind as well.
Yeah. Ty, you were telling me about, because I didn't really know too much about Twitch prior to the pandemic, and then you were telling me, Ty, like there's guys that like stream games and things like that. Like that's really, really big.
Yeah, it's primarily was only for gamers. It was gaming focused only, and then they eventually branched out to music, art, so many different categories that you can think of. I work my real job, my real 9 to 5 job. I work at a social media agency, so we work with for our clients a lot of different social media platforms, and Twitch is one of them. And we always try to, if it works for our client, we would definitely try to do a lot of campaigns and so forth. So you notice a lot of ads that's happening on Twitch when you watch, or anywhere on social media platform, on YouTube or on Facebook or whatever. Those is what I do.
Yeah, no, because I wanted to tell. I'm glad that you brought up social media. I didn't realize that that's what you do, like in your real
My
like
real
life
9 to
job.
5,
Yeah, no, that's really cool. So let me ask you this: so now you're on both ends of the spectrum, because in these like discords that we're in, and we've talked about on the show numerous times, it's less about the music, more about branding, more about social media awareness. So we've touched on that, but I didn't realize that's literally what you do for a living. So you're kind of like you get best of both worlds. You have the music side, you understand social media. So I guess in your words, how important is that coming from the social media background you have? How important is that to marry the two, right? Music, social media awareness.
And you know what? It's always a very controversial topic in a way for some people, because a lot of artists think that social media shouldn't be one factor of your brand. But honestly, for me, being in the social media space and knowing how well it can, communicate to your fan and to people, and bringing in new, engager, just users in general, I feel like social media is important. It is a huge factor to your brand, and as long as you're willing to learn, it can go a long way. I personally right now don't use paid social media to enhance my brand. All my followers on my social media has all been organic. But for me personally, to when an artist come to us and let's say I want to build up my followers or my my engagers or whatever, you do have to put money behind it, and there are ways to do that in a genuine way, not like trying to get like fake followers, but there are ways to promote your brand and get people to see your name out there that typically they wouldn't be able to see normally.
I see.
There's a fine line. Sorry. Go ahead, Ty.
I was gonna say.
I got so much shit to talk about.
I was gonna say. I see the smoke coming out of Rob's ears. He wants to tell you something right now.
Fucking ready to go. Okay, so no, because you see guys selling blue check marks. You see folks selling followers in their quote unquote campaigns, and we've seen some guys that
talk about it a lot.
Yeah, we have, and I know there's this fine line of building up your fan base, but then doing it organically, so it's not like botted, right? Because I know people want their work seen, but then they look like they feel like they're not going to get booked unless they have X amount of followers, and there's maybe some of this internal pressure that they go out and make some bad decisions. You say that if you put some money behind it, you can organically build up your following, get it in front of eyes that you might not ordinarily do without it being botted.
Yeah, no bots. Like if you put money behind it, you can target specific audience that you want to reach that may be interested. Whether they follow you or not, it depends, on them. But these are true, real people. These aren't bots. So for our clients specifically, if they are trying to build out their followers on social media, whether it be TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and so forth, we do pay money behind it, but we're not targeting fake audiences. We're targeting real people.
Yeah. And I know guys, even guys that have somewhat established themselves, Ty, that we know of. We don't need to like go into names. That stuff has already been litigated in all these discords that we're in. But no, I think with when I've talked to them, they kind of have this feeling of either one, they're getting taken advantage of. They really think that they're doing what you're saying, SunrYse, or two, like you said, they have this pressure. Like I have to hit these numbers. Got to have this profile that looks a certain way. Are you guys keen to that though, SunrYse, as far as artists who have these fake followers or trying to get booked? And have you seen a lot of that on the DJ side of things?
Or in the trance community in general?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in your community.
I definitely don't see that many from my end specifically, to be honest. A lot of the people that I am friends with or that I get in touch with when I see them, whether it be at music shows or networking or whatever, they are just trying to build out their brand. There are some people that I know I've heard that maybe done that, that actually do, buy these spots. But, at the end of the day, honestly, focus on what you have to do for yourself. If that works for them, so be it. But for me personally, I'm more about kind of bridging the community in a more organic, genuine way. And however it works for you guys, but like for me personally, I'd rather try it out organically first and kind of go from there. Yeah, sometimes you're going to be in your own mindset here. Like sometimes you're going to see, oh my God, maybe I should get more followers. Maybe I should put money behind it. But at the same time, you just have to sit back down and kind of rethink everything and make sure, is this where you want to be? Like, are you going to be proud of what you built 5 years from now when you look back, So are you going to be happy with how you created your brand?
Well, Ty, you've talked about it, like bots and botted followers, they're not buying hard tickets to these shows, right? And like if you're spinning somewhere, you might in some cases have like a ticket obligation that you've got to move or whatever the case is. They're not buying hard tickets,
no,
right? And you've talked about that.
Yeah, and I think honestly, it's really important. No matter what your numbers, what the numbers are, I think it's kind of being able to go out in person, go to these shows, network, get to know these people, get to know your fans. At the end of the day, everyone's just trying to be human and get to know each other and be friends in a way, right? So a lot of the people I know that I met through Twitch or through just a show, I talk to them, I get to know them, and that's how I feel like they get to know who you are, and they want to come out because they know that you're someone they want to be supporting wholeheartedly,
We talk about it all the time. First impressions and stuff is always key, and face-to-face meeting somebody is better than an email.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you see a lot of Now this is my daily or my tie. This is where I'm going to start talking about TikTok because I've touched on this probably 73% of the shows that we've done.
Yep.
Do you say, well, but now we got someone who's really in social media time. Do you see a lot of your business kind of going to that platform and folks trying to really build that? Like how important, I see you nodding. How important is that?
TikTok is just one of those, you have to admit, like Gen Z is where everyone's trying to target these Gen Z. So they know automatically the number one platform for that is TikTok. And so, with the clients that I work with at my company, they, some are currently in the process of like creating a campaign and trying to test out TikTok. Some are already in the space. So, but at the end of the day, everyone is thinking about it, whether or not you like it or not. If you want to hit a specific age target, age demo, you're gonna have to consider TikTok as one of the platforms you want to hit. So whether you want to create an account and test it out, but honestly, for me, I have TikTok because I work in that space, but also because I'm curious, like how are people using the platform? Is it something that I should consider for my brand, for SunrYse or not? And it's really important. So really try to see where your audience is. Maybe TikTok is not for me, maybe I should just only focus on Instagram. But if you do focus on something, make sure you focus on it 100% and put your whole heart into it. Don't try to do 25% this and this and this.
I think that maybe the misperception, or maybe it is the reality, is they have to do like dances and be kind of out of themselves. Because Ty, your music producers are inherently, they're introverted folks, right? They're
For the
not
most part,
boisterous. Yeah, right. So I think that's where like a lot of the hesitancy has been is like, I don't want to do those types of videos. In your like marketing, you talked about campaigns. Is there other things that producers can do outside of that to kind of gain traction? What are some of those things?
I think when people think of TikTok, they think of what the initial phase was. TikTok initially was a dancing type of like, what do you call it? Like a dancing competition or like challenges, actually. Sorry, that's the word. They do a lot of hashtag challenge and so forth. So that's how I kind of grew from there. But now TikTok, if you go into TikTok now, there's so many different things that you can do. You don't need to do dances anymore. You can just talk to a community. And based on the algorithm, it's not about how many followers you have on TikTok. It's about the algorithm and the hashtag that you use that kind of bring in any audience in to kind of like listen to your content. But for TikTok, like there are people that's just normally just talking and people come in and listen. There's people just cooking, or for DJ specifically, a lot of the content that I do see is just showcasing their tour or like, or mixing mashups, etc. Like there's a lot of different content you can produce. At the end of the day, it has to be unique enough for it to be engaging. And so for TikTok, it's doing, I feel like for music, specifically for our genre of music, a lot of people are still trying to figure that out. What are some cool concepts, some cool content that we can create and build out to get user to be engaged? And that's a lot of work, honestly, like doing this as a full-time job. Like people have their own community manager or a specific person to actually do this on a full-time basis. So it's a lot of work. That's why I was saying, like, if you really want to go to TikTok, you got to put 100% in it. Right.
Or we can hire your firm, you at your firm, and we could start. Ty, I'm telling you, this is great cross promotion. No, that is enlightening though, because there is a lot of unknown, right? We hear it, we kind of fear it, especially if you're on the older side, such as myself. But you're right. The perception is not just dance videos. As long as the content is unique, you can make a headway there. You can start to carve out a space for yourself and leverage it for sure.
Yeah. And honestly, TikTok is one of those things where you can just be as creative as you want. There's so many creative things you guys can do, and they give you that option to do so with with a certain amount of like creativity, functionality that they offer. Be as creative as you want.
Dude, these video editing apps, holy shit,
I
dude.
know.
Like, they definitely did not exist when I was growing up, bro. Like, we had like the big camcorders and shit. You would like just carry it on your shoulder and you would start filming motherfuckers like this. Yeah, now you could do the phone, and then they got the apps.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, dude, everyone could be Steven Spielberg now, man. I guess there really is no excuse, right?
You don't need a computer anymore.
That's the same as I feel like with production. Like production, learning how to produce is definitely a lot easier now versus 15, 20 years ago.
Let's get into it. Producing and all that. Have you tried any producing, or are you wanting to try producing in the future?
Yes, I do. I've been trying to take courses. I did, and this is so funny. Maybe this is how my mind works, but I did try to take a few courses through a private tutor last year. But with my schedule, with a full-time job and gigs and everything, I definitely wasn't able to 100% pursue it. So I took a break. But the last few weeks, I would say, I decided to kind of like relearn and start over again. But my end goal is to eventually figure out, what can I put out there in the world? And I want to do it I want to do it the right way. I wanted to actually learn. I actually want to seek and understand and make something. I do have this fear though, for sure. And maybe this is why I've been prolonging it for so long, is that I didn't have any musical background growing up. Again, I'm not your typical Asian person. I didn't grow up playing any instruments.
Oh, the piano. I thought for sure you'd have grown up playing the piano.
Nothing, and to be honest, like my family my parents were very hardworking parents. They worked 7 days a week. So, and with me, my twin sister, my two younger twin sisters, there's 4 of us all like growing up. It was hard to, pay for something for me and then have to think about the other 3 too. So we didn't grow up rich. We didn't grow up with like, not even middle average income, so for us, learning an instrument wasn't even an option.
Were your parents from here or no?
No,
they moved here.
My dad is from South Korea, and my mom is she's Chinese Vietnamese, but was born in Vietnam. But she came here after the Vietnam War. She also came to America like in 1979. So, and then my dad came in the early 80s. So, I guess in a way, so I'm first generation essentially. But it wasn't until I got older that all these, options to learn became something that I could actually pursue. So for now, I just need to get in that right headspace and start producing, because I do want to learn. I do want to create something of my own, and I have so many melody in my head. I just got to learn how to put it into paper,
Yeah. And so all you need to do, let me tell you what you need to do. Here
okay. You tell me.
Take some notes.
Here it comes.
So you're going to go to Ableton.com. Okay. You're going to get that first. All right. That's your first and foremost move, is just to start in Ableton. If your teachers are trying to get you to go to FL Studio, you might want to consider hiring somebody else. Okay. I'm Ty.
I have Ableton Standard 11.
Oh, let's go to work.
Yeah.
We got a girl.
Yeah.
All right.
I had everything. I bought everything already. I just need I'm old school. I need someone to sit down next to me. I need someone to show me in real time, and if I have any real time question, but you know what, at the end of the day, I just maybe it's an excuse, maybe it's not, but I think for me, I just need to get in the right headspace and just push myself to do it.
It's a lot. It's a lot of learning. So you started on the DJ side of this thing. Let me ask you something. I guess this is somewhat of a personal question. So as a female artist, right, and you've had a lot of success, have you found that you had to go through barriers maybe other folks didn't have to go through? Is that something for you? Or did you kind of already build your network up so much it was just a really super smooth transition? I
would say I was in between 50-50. I definitely feel like I do need to push myself harder than most people. Even with the network, I definitely have to say that was a leverage that I had, for sure. And it did give me that transition where, whereas people are emailing and you may not even get a response back, or people are sending out on Instagram messages and you don't even get to, they don't even see it. I initially have to say I have that connection. I already had relationship that I built. So it was sometimes it's even more like they're reaching out to me, like, hey, do you want to play? I heard you start DJing, stuff like that. And I think during the time that I started learning and they asked me to play was when I think female artists was starting to become a huge need in a way in the industry. I hate to say that, like, we had to distinguish between female and male. It should just be as an artist in general. But yeah, I definitely went through some struggle. I definitely see where the male has more advantage than female for sure. But that doesn't deter me from like doing what I want to do. I just push myself harder. I work a lot to make sure that I get the name that I feel like is right for me, and I'm doing it the way that I know is right for me.
Well, the movement's been great because 20 years ago, it was, I would say, female DJs weren't as prevalent. Now you have some absolute rock stars, right?
Yeah.
Charlotte DeWitt's. I mean, they're your top 100, right? Like you have top 50 DJs, and it's fantastic to see the names up and down. Who's kind of inspired you when you were getting into DJing? Like, did you have a few people that really moved you?
For female specifically, yes, I definitely did. For me, I would say Pretty Pink was someone I looked up to. That was part of the Anjuna label. And I can give you more of the back history of like how I got to where I am because of the Anjuna family.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. So, but for me, it was definitely looking up for someone like Pretty Pink, who I would say, because she was in the label that I'm looking to be part of, or to be able to get more gigs through that label. There's not that many female artists specifically on that label. So for me, listening to her music, listening to her style, it really did influence and inspire me to get there too. And there are other female artists that I love is, Peggy Geaux, just to see Peggy Geaux, like, she's Korean, and to know that, like, someone that is also Korean too, like, I'm half Korean. So to see her success, within the last few years, the past 5-6 years, like, is amazing. And Emily Lenz and Charlotte DeWitt, like you mentioned, there are some of the people that I do listen to and I do admire, to be able to get the success that they have. And who knows, maybe I will one day, maybe I won't, but I know that at least the success that they have will inspire so many other female artists to do the same.
Yeah, Peggy, man, she is fantastic. You talk about branding.
Oh,
she
yeah.
is like an ambassador for fashion. And
Yeah.
she has, I mean, it's been, I saw her in a fucking commercial the other day. Dude, the other day I was watching, I swear to God, I forget which one it was, but I'm sitting there and I'm watching TV. I forget what it was. And then she comes on and I'm like, wait, hold on. I had to rewind that time. I was like, wait, I know this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like in commercials now too. So it's really cool to see, like you said, not like paving their way and creating a brand. I think, obviously we kind of go back to that, but no, it's fantastic. Let me ask you this. You touched on it earlier, Trance fam. Okay, let's get into this because again, Ty, you and I, we haven't been around that so much. I know certainly I haven't. What is Trance fam? Tell me about like the vibe, the energy. You guys are super connected. What is behind that?
I think so. Trance family actually started as, to some people, Trance family sounds like it's just a group, but it's like a huge movement, I would have to say, all over North America, even now, like all over the world. But in every city that you go, there is a Trance family, and city specifically is Trance family New York City, Trance family San Francisco, Trance family LA, Trance family global USA, Trance family North America. It's just a huge community, huge movement that everyone just coming collectively for the love of trance, and the support that they give to each other, and the love and family that you feel from that is the reason why so many people are still friends now today. It's a family, and a lot of people they have people to be able to be excited to go see when they go to a show, because they are able to build. If you think about it, it's kind of like a huge like fraternity, sorority, but globally in a way, in the nicest ways possible. I feel like sometimes when I say fraternity, sorority, people get like a little bit upset, but
No, it's like an extended, but yeah, it's like an extended family,
it's
right?
an
'Cause, like,
extended
you guys,
family, and a lot of people, when they listen to this music, they are attending these shows alone. So this has become a huge space for people to be like, hey, I would love to meet you guys. I know you guys represent so much more than just, you know, music is love, is family, is friendship, and everything. So people feel safe in this space, you know. Trans family and Anjuna family, specifically Anjuna family. There's something about Anjuna family that give everyone this safety net to feel like they can always lean back on.
why is that though? Why is that? Because no, I've heard that before too, and I've never really quite understood it. Can you kind of like take me behind the scenes on that?
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely explain to you from my perspective and my POV, but from what I experienced from Anjuna family, and I'm also involved in the Anjuna family in New York City here too. I work really closely with a lot of the founders, specifically one who is the face of New York Anjuna family. But essentially, there's just this, you're just never alone in a way. There's so many people that this music uplift them to the point where, like, out of depression, out of suicidal thoughts, and they really, really do kind of promote that in a way. Not, you know, in a way where like, oh, you know, come listen to us because we give you that sense of feeling. But no, a lot of people feel that sense of community because the Anjuna family are able to welcome them in and be part of that family. And the music itself, I feel, kind of gives that feeling already. So to enjoy that music and to be together with those people there, they just feel a sense of family and community, and that they never felt before because they were probably, and you know, whether, and that's just one small group of people. Like I met a lot of people where the music helped them get out from that depression or from that suicidal thoughts. Or out of that, you know, out of that like shell that they're so shy and they aren't able to communicate because, like, you know, whether or not you're introverted or not, I feel like they have a sense of purpose now. So anytime there's a show that's happening, everyone just comes together. So again, it's a group, but also a beautiful movement in a way. And because of that whole, you know, and Anjuna recognize that, a lot of the label recognize that. They recognize that Anjuna family is part of that, you know, of their fan base, and the reason why they're still here today. Without them, would they be able to succeed? Probably not, right? And to make sure that they include them in all part of their shows or like events is really important to them as well. So I think that's another big reason. If the label don't recognize that, then, you know, you won't have that fan base or you won't have that community. But because they involve them, it just, you know, it makes it a whole different aspect of like what a community should be. So it's really cool to see how it grew and how everyone recognized that too.
Speaking of connecting and involving with people, how did you get involved with Above and Beyond?
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Yeah. So Above and Beyond, I've been listening to them since 2005. So I knew them for me, as a music goer, like I was one of those people that love music to the point where I would travel with my car. I drove a lot. My car was my second home. I drove everywhere, every single show you can think of. I just wanted to go there and just be there for the music. So Above and Beyond was someone I already looked up to, and they were one of my favorite trance artists growing up since 2005. It wasn't until the pandemic, and Juna did this project called Fan Base Series, like the Fan Club series, sorry, where since Twitch got really big during the pandemic, everyone went to that and make sure they took advantage of that. So Anjuna built a channel, created their community, and every Sunday they started this project where they allow one fan to play on their channel. And that's basically how it started. They were talking about it on their radio show, and I heard it. And so I decided to send an email and apply in a way, basically. And I talked about me, I talk about Trance family in New York City and all that stuff. And immediately the next day I got an email back saying, hey, we would love for you to come and play. And mind you, like at that point I was still pretty new in DJing. So, but I was so excited. I was so nervous when I got that email. So July 19, 2020 was when I played on their channel, and it had like 1,100 people watching. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was insane. And I was so nervous. It was like an hour and a half set. But because of that, it kind of made me build this connection and relationship with the headquarters out there, and I kept my relationship with them. And I told them, hey, look, if there's ever any opportunity, if there's ever any shows in my area, I would love to be considered. So I have to say that event, that stream that happened, was probably the reason why I am here today, because of and able to get a lot of the opportunities that I do have now,
Yeah, that's like like a springboard effect for sure.
Yeah, and that was April 2020, so it's been like, I don't know, a little bit over 2 years now, 2.5 years.
And then you opened up for them, am I right?
Yeah, so my first show ever, so that was April 2020. August was my first big gig in Philadelphia. I opened up for Markus Schulz. And that was my first real live gig. And from there, it kind of...
Whoa, hold on. I am not going to let you gloss over that. Your first gig is fucking in front of like opening and supporting Markus Schulz. That's like, not like the dive bar down the street or spinning for your friends at like a fraternity.
No.
It's Markus Schulz. Oh, man. Tell me wait, you had to have been petrified. Like, how did you...
Oh, I was so nervous. But when I'm nervous, I keep my mind busy. I was busy running around, making sure whatever. By the time I got there, I was like, well, I got to play now. Once I got onto stage. But it was a good experience to start, because I didn't have to play a long set. It was like maybe 45 minutes, an hour max, I think. And yeah, that was my first real like performance. I play like outdoor, probably like May or June of 2020 for in New York City, but it wasn't the same feel as like at your first club experience, to play in front of like so many different people and so many people in Philadelphia, and to play in my city where I was born and raised. So it was an amazing experience, amazing feeling. And that was August 2020. Oh, wait, sorry, August 2021. I'm so sorry. August 2021, because I did my first stream for Above and Beyond on July 2020. So yeah, from then on, I had a lot of opportunity. I opened for Lane 8 at Echo Stage earlier this year. I opened for Above and Beyond for the first time at Avant Garner last December, during New Year's Eve week. So that was really fun. And I got to play at Brooklyn Mirage earlier this summer, opening for Above and Beyond as well. So there's a lot of, and I played for the huge milestone for ABGT 500 that Above and Beyond does every year. This year was in LA. So I got to play at their official after party with like Matt Zoe and Oliver Smith and J-Tech and all them at the after party at Exchange in LA.
Wow, man.
So yeah, and I have a few more exciting ones coming up in December, which I'm like looking forward to let everyone know. I could probably tell you guys here, actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, we're listening. It's an exclusive.
Well, next week I'll be opening for Miss Monique in Chicago, so I'll be heading out there. So that'll be my first like show in the Midwest. So that's really exciting. And then on the 17th, I'm actually opening up for Markus Schulz again in New York City with Jerome as my A. I'm going to go back to back with my really good friend Daria, and then New Year's Eve, I'll be opening for Above and Beyond at Echo Stage in Washington, D.C. So
keeping that train moving.
Yeah. No, it's inspiring though, right? It's inspiring, and it hasn't... See, that's why I like doing this show. Honestly, I get to meet folks who inspire myself, and your story, like it wasn't like you've done it so quickly, but you've been very strategic about it, right? Like it wasn't just, hey, I want to be a DJ and then start doing things. Like you really had you learned properly how to do it, and then you've applied yourself and you've marketed yourself really, really well. And it's inspiring to see
Thank
like
you.
you're going coast to coast. You're about my neck of the woods here in Southern California, and it's fantastic. So let me ask you, top 5 venues, right? I always like asking like true DJs this. What are your top 5 venues? It can be in any order.
Okay.
Or you can list them. You can list them however you like. But yeah, what are your like top 5 venues to spin in?
That I would like to, or already done?
Probably both.
Let's do both. Let's do both.
I would have to say Brooklyn Mirage was an amazing experience for sure. Echo Stage has always been Echo Stage for sure, just because I've been going to so many shows out there since 2012 that it was like a dream come true playing at Echo Stage and Brooklyn Mirage. Where else have I played? I think Exchange was a cool opportunity too.
Yeah, it's a great space. Yeah,
I went there for the first time when I was like maybe 10 years ago. So it was really cool to actually play there last month. So those are like the big staple like clubs that I had the honor of playing, and it was a dream come true playing there. A few others I would love to play in terms of venue. I don't know, like the Ziggo Dome is pretty cool in Amsterdam. When I first saw Armin there, I went to Armin only in 2017, May 11, 2017, his one and only show for his 20th anniversary of us being an artist. And I went there and it was amazing. So definitely something there. Oh, and Albania. So just because Anjuna has this thing called Anjuna Deep Exploration, where they do 7 to 8 days of like all the Anjuna Deep artists for all the labels, and they play out there for like 5, 6, 7 days or so. And the view, the beach, everything is just really beautiful. So, and the stages that they built is really beautiful as well. So I think it'd be one of my dreams to also play out there as well. But honestly, I would love to play in Asia I don't know a specific venue in Asia yet, but like for Europe, I would love to just be able to play in Amsterdam or even like, oh my God, Printworks would have been amazing to play at, but I know they are shutting down this year. So I'm actually going to be flying out to Printworks to go to one of the last few shows next month.
Speaking of Amsterdam and all that, you were at ADE.
Yes, I was. It was my first ADE. Yeah.
We should have had her on for the recap show time. I wish I would have known you 2 weeks ago. No, that's awesome. I didn't know you went out there. How was it? Your first time? How'd it go?
First time. It was amazing experience for sure. The people I went with, the people that I met there, and just like the shows that I went to. But there were a lot of things I learned from it that I definitely would do differently for sure next year. I got the ADE Pro Pass, which was expensive, but I think you have to spend to gain.
Yeah, no, it sounds expensive. Wait, what is a Pro Pass? Okay, you gotta tell me what the Pro Pass entails.
So the Pro Pass entails every single shows that they throw out in during that week you can attend. You don't need to buy an individual tickets for. It comes with the pass, and then all the workshop, all the conferences, all the mixers. You can attend all of those. It's all part of the Pro Pass. The one thing I didn't realize when I bought the Pro Pass was that even with the Pro Pass, there are certain workshops, for example, I'll give you an example. I went to the State of Trance studio, ASOT studio, for their Thursday weekly show that Armin and Ruben Duran always do. And I went in, I was like, here's my Pro Pass. They're like, are you on the guest list? And I was like, what guest list? And then I was like, I have the Pro Pass. But they were like, no. Even with the Pro Pass, you still had to RSVP. So there's like an extra step. So like I'm grateful because I'm learning, you learn as you go,
For next time.
And for next time, for sure. And there's definitely some advantage to a Pro Pass, for sure. If the shows are sold out, it doesn't apply to you. You can still go unless it's full capacity, and then that's a different story. But it did give me an opportunity to go to some shows that were already sold out, and I was able just to go in and be like, hey, here's my pass.
My takeaway is you're like not only like, I don't know, I feel like you used your educational background to be a student of this, right?
Yeah.
A student of music. You've talked about like wanting to learn production the right way, not just rip it off YouTube and use FLPs, Tyler. We're not going to use names, Tyler. But I mean, you know what I'm talking about, like just using things and try to slap it together. You're really looking to the, because I feel like if by doing it the way you do it, it sets a better foundation for longevity, right? You have that educational foundation, and like you said, you can kind of rely on that as you move forward. I feel like a lot of guys who've like hopped into it and got lucky, maybe got something signed or used an FLP to do it, those guys are like all gone now, right, Ty? Like, so those are like flash in the pan. So I like that when you talked about like getting a Pro Pass, getting to the mixers, getting to the workshops. Those are all things I feel like from a longevity standpoint are really going to serve you rather well.
Yeah, I agree, because at the end of the day, you know, it's all you. Like, you have to rely on yourself, you know. So, and I like learning. I like the education piece of things, and the business part of it too. I think with my background and what I do from a 9-to-5 perspective, like I can use what I've learned there to kind of be able to translate that to what I'm doing now in the music world in a way, right? Like one of my past clients that I worked with on my agency was Heineken, and Heineken was a main sponsor for ADE. So, you know, being able to like, hey, how can I leverage that? How can I be able to use that opportunity to put into my personal work too? So like, I feel like everything happens for a reason. There's a purpose for everything. Like my background and what I'm doing with my real job does apply to what I'm, you know, trying to do here. And at the end of the day, for me, I'm always about being professional. So, you know, as long as you're respectful and professional, people will respect you and be professional to you back, you know?
That's another thing, Ty. We've talked about it. Like even when people like DM you and how you respond to that, that professional piece of it, I think a lot of guys don't think down the road. I know a lot of people we talk to, they're on the younger side of things in production. And so I don't think they quite understand the business. At the end of the day, this is a business. And like, if you're rude to somebody or they don't like you, that's going to carry over, and that's a trend. And then all of a sudden people aren't going to want to work.
We always say karma's a bitch, man.
Oh yeah. Well, I could have just summed it up by saying, yeah, fucking karma. Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
I could have summed that all up.
But you brought up a good point though, because one of the things that I remember I heard someone said or talked about was, you know, being in the game later in age wise, like for example, like in my current age right now, there are a certain advantage to it because you kind of were able to understand the business aspect or like the professionalism of things way beforehand. So when you actually go into it in your later years, you actually do know how to utilize that for the future, how to talk to people, how to talk to industry, how to talk to label owners or like, you know, A&R or so forth. It kind of, you have that background already. Like you mentioned, a lot of the people, the younger ones, they're thinking about themselves only. They're not thinking about the whole situation. They're not thinking about like what could affect their long term, right? So I think there is an advantage for older DJs because they already have that business acumen or like knowledge already.
So do you set like a lot of goals? Are you big at goals kind of person, like short-term, long-term goals? Like what's your process on that? I'm always curious to hear what artists have to say there.
I do try to set goals, but not like goals where I have to, all right, at 2 p.m. I have to do this, you know, or like at 3 p.m., you know, I definitely would see myself probably doing that more so with my limited time now, especially in production. Like once I start that, I know I have to actually be mindful of my time. But in terms of like my overall goal, like I am kind of sort of going with the flow, but knowing in the future where I want to be. Like I know for this year, like my goal this year was to be able to play outside of the East Coast, and I got that done. Like I set small baby goals so I'm able to accomplish them, right? So I don't feel overwhelmed or have this anxiety to make sure that I complete them. If I don't complete them, then I feel like a failure, right? But you know, now that I'm able to accomplish and complete that goal, next year I'll have a different goal, a different challenge.
What is the ultimate goal for you, right? Like I think I asked this to another artist we had on a little earlier time, but like for you, SunrYse, what is the end game? Like the ultimate, like I would like to take my artistry here. What do you have something like that in mind, or is it more like go with the flow and kind of see where we end up?
A little bit of both. But I think at the end of the day, I want to be able to use like my name in a very positive light. So whether it be encouraging other people to start DJing, or whether it be the music itself be so positive and uplifting to other people, that is something I definitely want to. My next goal is be able to produce a track that I know that if I can feel it, then I want everyone else to be able to feel it. And with me, even if I don't have any musical background, I have to say, like, because we didn't grow up playing instruments, we definitely train our ear to appreciate music more, right? So for me, I have so many melodies I want to be able to produce. So knowing that I have the technology to do so, I'm able to figure that out. And as long as I learn the basic fundamentals, I feel like I can be able to push it out onto a track or something. So for me, I always tell people, as long as I produce one track before I pass away, that's all that matters.
Well, that's why I've said on the show though, like that's why I like doing what I do, because and Ty, I'm sure you feel the same way as we have kids here. It's like it stays forever, right? Like once you make it,
exactly.
You create it, you publish it, whether you get a track signed to a major label or you self-release, whatever, like that's like a legacy that you can then leave behind. So I thought it was interesting when you said, hey, before I die, I got to get one off. Because I can, understand how you feel when it comes to something like that. Do you have like a dream collaborator? So once you kind of get your production game up, who you collab with? There's a couple people that you say, man, if I can collab with these two people, that would be like dream come true.
Oh man, I have to say Above and Beyond for sure, because if it weren't for them or like to get me to where I am now, I wouldn't be here for sure. In that light. But my all-time favorite DJ growing up, like ever since I was like, I don't know, really young, has always been Armin van Buuren. Like I've been listening to his stuff since 2002. Mind you, I don't really listen to his stuff really now because the direction of his music is not the same as what I listened to in the past. But I would love to one day be able to do something with him. That would be a huge like dream come true. Ferry Corsten is one of my all-time favorite. Like I got to talk to him. I got to interview him for Trance Family in New York City. So just seeing how such a nice, genuine person he is, and like the dedication and the music that he put behind it, like I would love to be able to just work with him on a collaboration. So my current favorite DJ right now is more of a progressive house, melodic house DJ, and German. His name is Einmusik. So he's someone I would love to one day be able to collaborate with. With the music that I'm going with right now and the way I'm playing is more deep house, melodic house, and techno and progressive house, like in that realm. So I would love to.
Yeah, we haven't really touched on that, right? Because like we talked about DJing and stuff, and that's in my notes. I really wanted to talk about like things that are working live in the clubs now. What are you seeing from a musical trend standpoint? So I guess it'd be a good time to kind of dive into that a little bit. So what did you start playing? Like you were like started playing trance, right? When you started spinning, you were going trance, or
when I was learning how to DJ. It was playing trance music. Like I was playing like 128 to 138, 140. But when I got my first official gig, this is how it actually all started. So I actually got a gig opportunity to open for Genix February of 2020. Literally right before the pandemic hit, right? That last weekend. And then when I got that opportunity, they were like, well, you're going to be an opener, so you can't be playing trance, right? You can't be playing above a certain BPM. So I had to train myself. I had to relearn and practice playing music that were like 120, 122 BPM. And because of that initiation and that practice and practicing playing that, I grew to actually love and fell in love with the progressive side and the deep side of music. And now that's basically what I only play. I only play up to like one, progressive house, deep house, melodic house, and techno, organic house. That's my four like main like realm of like music that I play now. But when I'm on stream on Twitch, I play whatever, and there'll be I'll do trance nights and stuff. I get to have that freedom. But when I actually play in live gigs, like that's where I touch upon those specific genre of music that I play. And it made me appreciate that music so much more. I still love trance for sure, but I definitely have a newfound love for that within the last 3-4 years.
Well, speaking of trance and progressive and all that, we have a few questions here. And one of the questions is, when you don't listen to trance or progressive, what do you listen to?
How about if I don't listen to dance music, I actually listen to classical music. I love classical opera music.
Back when Rob was born.
Yeah, that's my shit right there.
Yeah, I would love to one day go to like an opera house, and just again like in Italy or like Rome, like in Rome, or like in
Australia,
where one of those big opera house. That would be a cool thing to do. I think because my dad grew up listening to like opera, like he listened to a lot of Italian opera on the car ride to school or to road trips. So that's what I grew up listening to: classical music and opera.
That's a little
and
different.
Then yeah, it's very different. But we also grew up listening to a lot of like emo rock and like sappy love song, emo sad song. So those were the things I listened to.
I'm going to AFI in March, LA.
Really?
Fucking, dude, you kidding me? I saw AFI's back on. Yeah, I'm good. I got to sign up for that, don't I? Oh, I fucking love them, dude. Yeah, I had to go through the whole Ticketmaster reserve and then the pre-sale and dude. And I haven't bought tickets to the concert. I can't tell you how long, right? Outside of like the festivals and stuff that we've gone to. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, what the fuck kind of sorcery is this, dude? Like
all the taxes and fees and shit too.
Dude, bro, a $50 ticket's going to cost you $97.12. It's the absolute worst. And I'm in there and I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't know how people do it these days. Because then after that, then you have like accelerated pricing, all this other stuff I just do not understand. And then I saw the whole Taylor Swift thing happen. I'm like, man, how the hell are people buying tickets these days to these shows?
It's insane.
Oh, dude, I'd rather solve the Rubik's Cube than try to check out a Ticketmaster, bro. It's the absolute worst.
Honestly, that's why during the pandemic, everyone loved Twitch. There was no such thing as waiting, for tickets, or you had your, and the thing with Twitch is like you can subscribe to their channel and get specific, and you can unlock certain features that, paying $4.99 a month, not $13,000 for a ticket. So.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, I'm so mad. I should have bought more, because then you could slang these things. Like you can like way more, dude, because it's so hard because they get the price. Next time I know,
in the fucking parking lot giving out tickets. Hey, you want some?
You don't even got it. No, you don't even got to sell. You don't have to scalp it like the old days. You could just do it like all online. It was like a marketplace. I got so educated last week when I bought these tickets and how it all works. It was phenomenal. What do we have more questions, Ty? Because I can go on forever here.
Okay. Favorite flavor of bubble tea?
Oh, these are all the questions from Instagram. Favorite flavor of bubble tea. So I'm very basic. I love just regular milk bubble tea. But I try many different flavors, but my go-to always, anytime I try a new bubble tea spot, the way that I judge or determine if it's a good spot or not is how they make their regular milk tea.
I can't say I've ever had it, so.
Okay. Well, when you come to New York in January, we'll take you out.
Yeah, they're not serving that in Tennessee, I don't think.
I go to a bar or a restaurant or something. Can I get some bubble tea, please?
Oh, could you imagine?
Oh my God. It's like everywhere here in New York. Like every single corner has a bubble tea spot now. It's insane.
You guys got the best food. Remember we were talking to Zach's about this, about pizza and food. I was talking to Gabe about it. Every time I talk to Gabe, I'm like, damn, how am I not out? I love food. Clearly, I love food, right? Like it's obvious. And so, man, you guys have the absolute best food in the country.
Okay. Favorite movies?
Oh. So it was really funny. So my all-time favorite movie when I was a kid was I'll do a cartoon one first. Anastasia. It was not a Disney movie, but now I think it is. But my other one is, this is gonna be funny, National Treasure with Nicolas Cage.
Oh my god, dude, that is. I just watched that with my son. Yeah, he loves this stuff, and they're making a Disney Plus like TV show out of it.
Oh, that'd be so awesome.
That's coming out in December, just randomly. Just like there's a National Treasure TV show. I can't believe you said National Treasure.
I know. I love like the whole history found, like, you know, the I don't know. I love Dan Brown books too. So for me, like National Treasure kind of falls into that category. So I just love that movie.
Real things with possible theories.
Yeah, with possible theories is insane. I love that.
I wish I was a movie person.
Oh man, dude, you can have a National Treasure marathon. Not gonna lie.
The first one is definitely my favorite for sure.
Okay, yeah. Same here.
And I have three more I'll probably list out. Ip Man was, honestly, I watched Ip Man like 100 times. Literally, not kidding, like 100 times. Do you know Donnie Yen, the martial artist? Ip Man.
Yeah.
Ip Man. Ip Man was.
I never watched the movie though. I never watched that.
Watch Ip Man, the first one. There's 4 of them, but watch the first one. Ip Man is basically, he was the Bruce Lee teacher. And then my other 2 show, About Time, is also kind of like time traveling, but it's a really good, heartfelt movie that you guys should watch. A lot of life lessons. And then the other one is The Imitation Game. So watch those 5. Those are my top 5.
Ty, do you have any idea what we're talking about right now? I just see this look of confusion.
Watch Imitation Game. Alan Turing, you know, he's the one that invented or created the computer. But the movie is really good. By the Enigma.
Where's my pen and pad?
Write it down.
I'm about to.
I've been doing this. This is why I keep this right here, because every time, like, and I've filled up a whole sheet since I've talked to you.
Yay.
No, that's really cool. No, those are good questions. Do we have any more time? Do we have any more questions like that?
And the last question here was, how did you get your name, SunrYse?
Oh, okay. So my real name is Sun, S-U-N, like the sun.
Very nice. Very nice.
And then my last name is Yang, so with a Y. So so that's why I changed the I to a Y. And I capitalized the S and the Y in my logo and my brand name and everything, because that's my initial. So SunrYse, S-Y. So it's a part of me in there.
There's a meaning to it. I like it.
Yeah, me and my twin sister, we sat for like an hour trying to think of a name for me when I first were thinking about like putting a name together and everything back in 2020 during the pandemic. And we came up with so many different names that has to correlate with sun, like whether it be in a different language or not. But then at the very end, my twin was like, why don't you just do SunrYse with the Y? And that's where they stem from.
Do other family members, like obviously you've got a twin and you've got a couple younger sisters, also twins.
Yes.
Are they into music at all? Like maybe not as much as you, but do they are they down with that, or what's that like?
I got my twin sister into the music. She loves when she heard Andrew Rayel like 10 years ago, that's where it all came from. And now her music style and my music style are very different. Like she listened to like Millennium. She listened to like, Martin Garrix, like all of those names. Whereas I'm more towards like the underground sound in a way. I've been doing this for so long, like 17, 18 years. She started like maybe like 10 years ago listening to this music. And we grew up loving like vocals, emo type of like lyrics and stuff. So I think that's why she falls in love with like the Millennium sound and the lyrics and the vocal and everything. So her and my group of college friends, they all love that sound, but they always do come and support me when I do play at like big shows and stuff.
No, it's really cool. You have a really so it sounds like you have a really good support system, with it. So, okay, wait, last thing for me. So going back to one of the earlier questions I asked, how did your family take it?
My mom is like, why are you doing? My mom is very old school traditional. Like, she's like, why are you doing this? She always feel like this is like a DJ, and it's like a male thing. Even growing up, when I was a kid, when in high school, I played a lot of sports. I played volleyball in high school, all through my high school, college, and post college years. I play football in college. I play all that stuff. She was like, why are you playing male sports? Da, da, da. And I was like, but she means well. She doesn't, but it's so funny. So when I started DJing, it's like, why are you, doing like, playing, like, why are you DJing? Da, 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 all that stuff. So like she let me do it, clearly. But she just doesn't fully understand the love for it. And when she does listen to the music, or she hears the music when I'm driving her somewhere, she's like, my heart is like thumping so hard. Can you turn it down? Like, it's so funny. It's so funny. But my dad and my uncle and all my other family, they're like, oh my God, this is so cool. And, I had an uncle from my dad's side in South Korea who used to DJ. So my uncle, so my dad thinks it's family. Pretty cool. Kinda, yeah. And he did, and they were like a huge musical family. They're like, they had a music school and everything in South Korea. All their kids, my cousin, they all play multiple instruments. So they are very like musical family. So to my dad is like, bragging about me to them, so it's really cute and funny. Like, he always want to see like pictures and like, when I put my EPK together, he was like, oh, let me send it to me. I want to, keep it. So he's very supportive in that sense. But
I cannot wait to hear from you, their reactions when you actually produce your single, get it out there, get it signed. They're gonna be over the moon about it. It's gonna be, the next time we have you on, it's gonna be after you produce this, you sign it, and we get to talk about that.
That would be amazing. Yeah, that's the goal for sure.
So any last thoughts before we get off here today?
No, I think this has been great. I really like this open discussion conversation, because, I think more people need to hear about it. I think it'll give people some sort of like calmness to it, in a way, to understand that, like, everyone's just a human, like a regular human being, and that's what I try to make sure that everyone that listen to me or follow me on my Instagram to know, that you can come up and talk to me. I'm just a regular music lover. I was a fan, like, I'm still a fan. I'm just learning as I go. So I think it's really cool to have something like this set up, so that anyone who listen to it can understand that this is just part of our, day to day, and we're just all human beings. So yeah.
And like you said, I like doing this because I can get inspired by folks like yourself. And you came on, you dropped a lot of knowledge, because we've talked about social media, but you brought it like a little more like detail to that, and it's like, this was really great. It was a pleasure to meet you, because I hadn't met you prior to today. And it's kind of like everyone else who was listening who might not know you. It's kind of like you kind of gave us an insight of like who you are as a person.
And the trance community.
Yeah, like the background on that. And then I just thought it was special when I asked you what your big goal was. You didn't say, I want to be on Tomorrowland. I mean, I'm sure that would be cool, certainly. But you were like, I want to make music to then inspire people. That's my big takeaway from today's show, and I thought that was one of the most honest and genuine answers we've gotten on this show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you guys having me, for sure.
Well, guys, I think that's it for another episode of Voices of the Underground. Once again, I want to give a big thank you to SunrYse for being on here. You could go and follow her at DJ SunrYse on Instagram. And like always, you could go and follow my co-host at Robert Geaux on Instagram. And you could go and follow myself at Young Ty on Instagram. We have a Discord, guys. We'd love for you to join it. The link will be in the description. And we'll see you guys on another brand new episode.
Awesome. Thank you.